I came from the mud. There's dirt on my hands.
Welcome to Build an Iconic Life podcast. I'm your host, Chris Whitehead, and this podcast is dedicated to help you build a life with zero regrets by focusing on how you have everything you need to stand up, stand out, and live life on your terms. Let's dive right in.
I even told my wife, I go, it makes me angry. And she's like, stop beating yourself up. I go, do you understand if somebody put me in those rooms when I was 20, what would happen? I would be a multi-billionaire now. And I feel that it's not fair. That I could have, not because I wanted to have the money, I wanted to achieve that and be able to, I don't know, to help people. So many people just need help. They need help. Like you need help.
Yeah.
Right? I need help. We're just different level help.
Yep.
Doesn't mean that you're seeking your next $50,000 job, $100,000, I don't know, $500,000, I don't know. I'm seeking my next, another zero or something.
Mm-hmm. It's all in degrees.
Struggle is the same.
You
have a mortgage, I have a mortgage too.
When I got out of my ego, so for so long I kept myself away from successful people because I thought they were different. But the truth is that I was judging me. And when I
just thought that you're not good enough.
Right.
Instead of saying,
what does it take to get there?
I'm just as smart. It's just that they're ahead of me. So I should basically kiss their ass until somebody else starts kissing mine, or whatever the analogy is. But at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck what people say. Or if somebody's like, oh, but I'm shy. Well, get on shy. You're afraid of God? What is God thinking about you right now? You think he's going to help you to be not shy in front of an investor? I think of these things.
So you moved here when you were 15.
Yep.
And did you know as a young person, like you had a different drive than everyone around you?
I think so.
Was it hard to fit
I
in?
think from the beginning, I don't know, something I think my grandma embedded in me because I can't think of anybody else. My father didn't teach me anything. My grandpa didn't teach me anything. Always was drunk. Anytime I saw him, he was drunk. My mother went to work every day and then immigrated to the United States. So the opportunity she gave me is to bring me to this country, but never taught me anything. I even told her that today. She was like saying, watching you bleed like this. I said, you see, that's why you can't be my coach. My mentor. And she yells at me for spending money on mentors. Enough of spending. They're scam artists. And I was like, you see, I have to disconnect myself from you. I have to. I cannot listen. The more you talk like this, the more you're pissing me off. I sent her the book today that I'm reading. I go, this would resonate with you. And what is this life about? To fight? To fight all your life? And then lose yourself in the fight? I don't see the tunnel in that. I mean, the light in the tunnel in that. I imagine life for you with kids at peace. I go, I love the fight.
Yeah. She just doesn't resonate with the drive.
I love give me a bunch of money and say, sit home and be peaceful. I'll probably get on drugs. I need stimulation.
Yeah. So
I need to be stimulated or I'm out.
What made you decide to become an entrepreneur? Like, why not go down the job
route? Are we having this thing already?
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's running.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
You've been running. Yeah, I do it this way.
Oh, okay. So it's natural.
Yeah, exactly.
What made me become an entrepreneur? I think from probably about 13 years old, I wanted to make money.
Okay.
For what? I don't know. What would be the purpose of that? But I just wanted self-achievement, I think. So I gravitated to what I knew as a skill, right? And at the time, I knew how to play an accordion because I went to music school for about 5 years. I achieved a degree. And traditionally in Ukraine, we have holidays where kids go and sing publicly. They go to each house, they knock on the door, and we don't knock on the door. I take it back. We just start singing religious songs.
Okay.
And just in God's name. So we sing them and we play and I just went to every house. I had to crawl through snow and cemetery to go to another village because I played in every house in one village that I lived at. So I went to the next village, like basically go into the next territory, if you will. And I basically was relentless. It was freezing. My fingers were freezing. We didn't have any glove warmers, any of that stuff.
And you were playing an accordion and singing?
So I would just before I go to play. So
Warm
the
your
accordion
hands.
I put on the back like a backpack, crawling through snow right up to my, crotch. And then I would be cold and I would put my hands under my shirt and I would warm them up. And then my teacher taught me one thing. He said, when your fingers freeze, just start tapping them. And I tapped them and I played. And then after I was done, I, received money.
So you get paid.
So yes.
Okay.
People give you money.
Okay.
So that's the old tradition is that you receive,
food or something.
Yeah, food or not food, but like nuts or something,
Mm-hmm.
like candy, kind of like trick or treat type thing.
Yeah.
But instead you get money. So let's say today's world, you probably get for playing $5. You go to another house, they give you $1, and you're like, cheap. And then you go to the guy that gives a lot of money, and he gives you $10. Everybody lines up to go to him. So you have to think about who's paying more. You got to go to them because at some point they lock the door and go to bed. So you got to there's timing. There's timing. So you start singing about like when it gets dark. So as soon as it got dark, I started singing, and then people go to bed around 11 o'clock. So you're not singing at midnight expecting for people to come out
to throw something at you.
No, they just won't open the door. You'll just be singing for no reason and losing time. So then I come home, and I think at the time, let's just imagine today, for a 13-year-old kid, you made $350 for the night. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money, man.
Right? And so I made that money. I put that somewhere. I get up in the morning to count again because I was so excited. I was like, I think I had like $350 there. And it's not there. I was like devastated. I go, Grandma, oh, you don't need that. I was speechless. I was like, she's like, what do you need $350 for? That's a lot of money. I was like, well, I have to buy a battery for my bike and because I had a motorcycle. She's like, all in time. We need to buy grain for the winter so we can feed the chickens. So we can put food on the table. To a young kid to say that, I was devastated.
I bet.
I was devastated like somebody stole it from me. And I tell the story to everybody, and they're like, wow, your grandma was ruthless.
She taught you actually
I think she, because people ask me, where is this hunger coming from?
Mm-hmm.
I got even more hungry.
Yeah.
I didn't say, next time I'm going to hide the money better. I just said, I'm going to make so much money that this will not ever disturb me. But I knew that she didn't do anything wrong. She basically said, the value is in the food and feeding us because we don't have a lot of money. And you have to, and she also taught me that there's also another day. It's not just today. So if we had, let's say, kielbasa in the fridge, which was a commodity, like I didn't grow up hungry, but we grew up, not with much amenities.
Mm-hmm.
No hot water, no toilet.
Really?
No heat. You have to chop up wood. At 5 years old, I had to chop wood if I wanted to be warm.
You got warm twice.
So exactly. And the neighbors were like, "What are you doing? He's 5 years old. He's going to chop his arm off." You know what my grandma said? Pay attention to your kids. Guess what? I didn't chop off anything, but it taught me how to work.
Yeah.
And that's what made me, I think, an entrepreneur, is that not for once I was ever afraid to work. I was never lazy. This is what I see a lot of times in people. They're lazy. They think they're not, but they're lazy. And you gotta really beat that. It's a disease. It's a disease. You gotta beat that. And if you're working, you're like, "Oh, I'm tired." Really, you're tired? I start laughing at people when they say, "I worked 40 hours." I'm like, "I worked 40 hours by Tuesday."
Dude, we put 21, 22 hours in this last Tuesday.
I mean, I remember opening up businesses, literally getting up in the morning, going to the place of business, working all day, having food delivered to me because I had no time to go get it. It was not efficient to me. Sitting down, there was no, let me go rest. Let me go, uh, take some break. There was none of that stuff. Go, go, go. I literally can tell you that Red Bull at the end, which is not good for you, kept me up from just keep going, keep going.
Yep.
I would come home, and a lot of people would find as nasty, but I see it as a commitment of a warrior. I would take my clothes off, literally just from pants down, and go to bed, no shower. Then get up. As I move out of my bed, I sit at the edge of the bed. I put my feet back into the same pants. Literally, they were just like standing back into the same pants, belt up, and I'm out the door. 2 months straight like that. I mean, essentially showered, when it's necessary. But there was no day off.
No day off.
No day off. I was tired. I was so tired that I think I lost 28 pounds in 2 months. I looked like a skeleton, but I did it. I did it. Whatever I had to do, I did it.
So, the other day, you invited me to go to Chicago with you, and I remember about a month beforehand, you said you're going to show up, right? And I was like, yeah. And then I came into Boston to see you, where you were looking at a project with you, and you asked me again for the third time, and it's 2 days away. You're like, you're still coming, right? And I kind of gave you a smart ass answer, quit asking. If I give you my word, I'm going to do it. But it leads me to something of what you just talked about. Have you had a lot of people say yes and then they're not? Because, dude, I had to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I didn't get home until midnight.
I run into people where they're all like, "Yeah, let's do it. Let's do this." And they get so excited. And I don't believe it. I don't believe it until
You've seen too many people.
There's no commitment. I think that people just say, "I want to do this and I want to do this. And how did you do this?" And they get so almost speechless. How did you do this? Worked.
And then you actually invite
commitment,
but I mean, even the way you've treated me, it's been an open invitation. So you're this kind of person, but what you see is what people really want to do is just ride your coattail, let you do the work.
It's riding the coattail.
They want what you want, but they're not willing to do what you did to get it. Is what I'm hearing.
They have no idea what it takes, and if they start, and I'll just say that to anybody. Just start doing it. Quit lying to yourself. Quit the comfortable, somebody invited me on a Sunday or some girl cut it out. The girls have no money. Your buddies have no money. So who's going to give you the money? You got to go find it. So put them aside. I'm not saying stop hanging out with your friend. I mean, don't have nothing to do with your friends or the females or whatever. But if they're not benefiting you in any way, if you haven't met a female that says, "Yeah, boy, go get it," I'm here by your side. I'll cook for you. Maybe I'm not, maybe I'm just a waitress, nothing wrong with that, but I'll support you. I'll cook for you. Like when I was,
Yeah, we're a team.
yeah, just do whatever. Like I always say, if the female you're with is all expecting you to do it all for her, wrong female. She needs to support you. If your friends only call you when you have something nice, you had bought a new house, you have a nice car, uh, you know, some barbecue, whatever, and that's all they, wrong friends, wrong friends. If your friends always say how great of a guy you are, wrong friends. And people say, what do you mean? So what do you expect people to shit on you? Yeah, yeah, uh-huh. I want a friend that says, so for 7 years you haven't moved up yet?
Push you.
Yeah. What's wrong with you? That's not the guy I know. Why are you so fat? Why are you out of shape? People say, "Oh, don't say that. That's hurtful." What's hurtful? You know what's hurtful is to die sooner than you should be. That is hurtful to your close ones.
Or to have a truth inside of you that
That's
you're
a
not
coward
willing to tell.
who expects to be fed, expects to be liked, despite of achievements. I can't be a part of that.
There's a big difference, and not everybody gets it, but the people that listen to this, they're wanting to improve themselves. Elite level people, athletes, business people, doesn't matter. Elite, they're different. They're not average. And average is not the bottom. It's where the majority of people mingle. The thinking that's required, the kind of things you're saying, oh, that sounds harsh. It doesn't sound harsh to people that are trying to do something, because we're so close to our own trees, we can't see the forest. So when you have a real friend, hey, you're fucking up, man. And you do appreciate it. Now, don't make fun of me, but point it out. There's this difference.
I'll tell you one thing, that when I moved to a different area, and what I saw in me in the growth was a different level of friends.
Sure.
On a different level. And it doesn't mean that they were different from the looks perspective. That I'm by nature 6'2", but I have friends that are 5'2",
Sure.
and I walk proud next to them.
Sure.
I don't, oh, it doesn't look good like me or something. It has nothing to do with it. His brain looks better than mine.
Mm-hmm.
So, and what I believe in, and I said to myself, I will believe in it because I think it's the right thing to do, is to be blunt and to be upfront. And if somebody's hurt by it, they're weak. They're not a soldier. I want to be with soldiers. I want to hang out with soldiers. Soldiers don't get offended.
Mm-hmm.
Soldiers improve and sharpen their swords every day.
Mm-hmm.
And we test each other's sword. Oh, not sharp enough. Get at it, boy. That's going to be useless when we go to battle, back to battle.
Sure.
I want you to protect me.
Sure.
And your sword is dull.
Sure.
So when I was telling a story about a friend that I helped financially with a lot of money, and good friend, and I basically put myself and my family and everything at risk and helped him. And I was telling my friend a story, another friend, and just telling him a story, and he said to me one word that got to me, that made me so upset at myself that it made me remember this, and I probably will remember this for the rest of my life. And that word will stand between foolishness and responsibility. And he said to me, "Sounds very irresponsible of you
to have loaned your friend that kind of money."
That's all he said. And I said to myself, it's like he just punched me right in my teeth. All that All I needed is that one word. He didn't say, you don't have to say you're a fool. Well, what does that mean? A fool? A clown? That doesn't mean anything. That's it's a general term.
Yeah.
He went right
Direct.
deep and he said, irresponsible. And I said to myself, yep, he's right. 100% irresponsible. I didn't say, well, how could you say this?
It hit you.
I was trying to help. Help? Whom? Where's that helper now? Where's your money? All gone, right? Irresponsible. In front of my kids, in front of my family.
Really?
My kids don't have that kind of money. Who's closer to me? Even the Bible says, which I didn't even know up until about 5 years ago, or maybe even less. Before you help a stranger, and I thought I got this right. Help strangers when you have something.
Mm-hmm.
The scripture said, it's your duty to help your family before you help a stranger.
It's also your duty to multiply talents. See the guy that goes and takes his talent and buries it in the ground.
After that, I said to myself, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for my foolishness.
It's a lesson that you'll never have to learn again.
But at the same time, I said to myself, why did you do that? I'm a good friend. So on one side, what has helped me is that I've always been a good friend, naive friend.
Sure.
Good friends are naive.
Sure.
But the friends that now I'm seeking, and the friend that I want to be, is the one that will get you ahead, not set you back.
Sure.
I've had friends that set me back.
Sure.
I became their enemy after I helped them.
Wow.
You know what they say? Give a friend money to lose a friend.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've done all my life.
So that's a good segue to this question. Like, what are the 3 biggest mistakes that you've made as an entrepreneur that you will never ever?
I don't think. See, that's not an investment. That's just helping a friend. So I would say that's a personal mistake. In business, the mistakes that I've done, I would say not vetting people or doing my due diligence enough before doing business with them. So find out who they are before you do anything.
Is that
I'm not talking about,
based upon need? Like you go and sell something and I need to fulfill this, or
no, just somebody says, let's do business together, and you like the guy or female or whatever. For me, it was male partners, and you like them, they resonate with you, and you just think that everything's going to be great. You don't read the paperwork. You just don't even have it. Come on, we're friends, we're boys. Like, how could that be?
I have made this mistake.
First, I call it a romance period. We're in love. We're in love. And the test is to any marriage, i.e., partnership and friendship, is what? Post-romance period.
Sure. It's when the stress hits.
Yeah. When the money gets tight, when you challenge, though, who worked more? Who's smarter? And why is this like this? And why is it, and then you realize that 2 things: either you don't belong with partners, it might be just your thing, or simply you have just not met the right people. And how could you meet the right people when you're not in the right circle? Which goes back to what we talked about, to go outside of your comfort zone, go outside of your territory to establish that new circle. And if you're in the circle that is not even tangible, or the achievements you're trying to achieve are not obtainable with the circle you have, assess your circle and get out.
Yep.
It's the same thing in business. If you're doing business with the people that are not businessmen, when I say businessman, what's a businessman? Ethics. If you don't have ethics and you have a word, not a businessman. You're not a soldier. Soldiers um, don't kill innocent people.
Yeah, they live by code.
Yes, you have to live by code. If you sign a contract, you stand by that contract.
Regardless.
That's your sword.
Yep.
You shouldn't have signed it. Oh, I didn't read it. Oh, I didn't know. Well, next time read it. Today you pay the price. I remember days I didn't read the contract.
Yep.
I paid the price.
Yep. So it teaches you to read the contract.
Read the contract. You know. What else? What other mistakes have I done in business? Again, the people you're with, the female you're with. For me as a male, a female can set you back big time.
Mm-hmm.
Big time. Every day in my life, I want to move up. I want to move up. I want to move up. Let's talk about this podcast. I could totally stay home and sleep later and, go play tennis. I don't know, whatever people do. But instead, I get on the horse and I go to get the kill.
Yep. Yeah, it's one of the things I respect.
There's nothing to eat if you don't kill anything. You got to kill. But your wife's got to skin it and chop it up. Because if she's not doing that and you're doing everything, why even have her?
So you're kind of starting to talk about what qualities are required in a high-performing individual. So what are some other, what are the qualities in your opinion of somebody that's a high performer? How are they?
Qualities are your habits. I think qualities are your be able to control your mind. Our mind is a weapon and are in a weapon of destruction.
Sure.
At the same time. And the way that I feel that every entrepreneur has the same thing in common is being able to control your mind, feed your mind. Like I have two, as they say, two angels.
Yeah.
One is that, when is it enough? And the other one, never. and then you may say, but maybe today we rest. But then the other one says, but if we rest, there's no glory. So I constantly have this mindset of fighting.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, there's something in between. My older daughter, now we play chess together. She's 6 years old. And my daughter says, Daddy, I want to play chess. Guess what? I drop everything. It's my daughter at 6 years old asked me to play chess. I don't want to be at 70 thinking, really?
Yeah.
You turn your daughter down to play a smart game? She didn't say, let's go play with, what do kids play with?
Video games.
Stretch dough or something.
Yeah. Play-Doh
or something. I mean, it's expressing art. I get it.
Yep.
But I think the art that I'm trying to teach them is the art of business. It's the art of war. It's we go to war every day.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be in business, you got to be ready to go to war. That's one thing that I like about samurais. And one of my bucket lists is to go to Japan and literally live with the old school samurais and experience their way of life for at least a month.
Wow.
How did they put their ammo on? Honored their father with their own ammo, like honoring your father with his business, right? It's the same thing. I see business and being a samurai is the same thing to me.
My uncle was a JAG in the Navy. So he was a lawyer, and his dad, they traveled all over the world because he was a rear admiral in the Navy. So as he was coming up, and about 15 or 18 years ago, he started practicing with a samurai sword. I got to watch a video of him going through some of the katas.
Mm-hmm.
It's serious, dude. This is not like karate. I'm like the way these people move.
Oh yeah. You lose your arm. That.
But the level of respect and discipline that they showed each other like there was this group of like 7 men standing around one another while one did his thing. It was humbling because
And how powerful would it be if they were in battle? And that's the same thing with business.
just
You
give me
put
goosebumps.
8
Yes,
business samurais together.
yes,
Who know back to back, shoulder to shoulder.
yep,
There's no, because if you betray me, you're gonna get a what? A sword, not from me. You.
Hmm.
You have to kill yourself. Imagine that.
Yeah,
In partnership, if you screwed your partner over, you would have to what's called harakiri,
Yep.
right? You would have to kill yourself.
Yep.
In your office.
Yep. That's why it's
Guess
good with
what?
the shorts.
Nobody would do that if those were the rules. Now, if you live by those rules and you have another samurai next to you, you'll go far.
Yeah. You just talk
There's
about
no retreat.
You just talk about alignment over assignment, man. Like it doesn't matter what you're doing, it matters who you're with.
Right.
And that was probably my biggest lesson because I kept putting people around me, and not to be rude, but I kept putting people around me that were not worthy of the dream and the goal and the effort that I was giving. And I spent my time judging them instead of just creating a new circle. And that was because of my own self-image. And when I started to work on my self-image, I started realizing they'll never be able to go where I'm going. Because they haven't made a choice. It's a choice.
You got to leave those people where they are. And,
yes.
And some friends reach out to me, and I don't want to sound like I'm better than them, but I think I'm better than them in a way of my mindset.
Mm-hmm.
So I decide. I've made a decision. That's the other thing. Is people need to decide. You need to decide whether you want to be comfortable or be uncomfortable to become comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Because the kind of comfortable I want is a different level.
Yep.
So I got to pay the price to become comfortable. That's it. It's simple as that. So to go and pick up the phone and talk about, I don't know, stuff we talked about 25 years ago. Yeah, it's fine to just joke a little bit here. Be like, remember that guy when he jumped in the mud and, remember Joey?
Mm-hmm.
Fine. But if we call each other on a weekday at 5:00, you better tell me about some business going on where we can benefit from each other. And some people ask, Nazar, why is it always about money and always about money and all you talk about is money? You know who says that? People that don't have money. It's an annoying subject to them.
Mm.
People that have money love talking about money. It's an interesting subject. People say rich people are bad people or people that others dislike. Yeah, who's disliking them? Who doesn't have money?
Right.
Rich people are actually awesome people. I've met many of them.
Mm-hmm.
They're amazing people, humble people.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some,
sure,
maybe can be not nice, but I don't think they're rich. I think they think they're rich. Rich is what? Yeah, it's numbers game, sure. But rich is here too.
My experience is money only expands who you actually are. So if you're a judgmental person when you don't have money, you're going to be more judgmental when you have it. If you're a good human when you don't have money, it actually gives you the opportunity.
But there's
to be
also a transformation period, which I've noticed. So people talk about money doesn't define you, but it will. It tries to define you.
Sure.
It tries to change you. Many times, when I remember I had my first, I don't know, let's call it $100,000. I was like, wow, it's a lot of money. Then I had my first million. And I was like, you know what? I didn't say it was a lot of money. I was like, I want more. What does it feel like to have 3, 4, 5, 10? And then it just became numbers. It wasn't about money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no emotion to it.
It's about scores. It's like just winning a game. Super Bowl, whatever. And then why did Tom Brady want to win another Super Bowl? It was 2 not enough, 3 not enough, 4 not enough. It's a numbers game. Look at Michael Phelps. How many gold medals does he have? 25. When he got his 24th and he didn't get his 25th, he went to some underworld depressed life. And you would think, what's wrong with the guy? He's like not happy with what he got. The guy won at 25. Let him. He's been swimming for years in the pool, despite New Year's, holidays, Christmas. He was in the pool for 6 years. Go in the pool for 6 years. See how it feels like.
You can see if you want 25.
No, my point is, can you swim in the pool or
Uh,
be in the water for 6 years? Same thing in business. Can you go to work constantly? When I say go to work, I mean do your thing.
Mhm.
Whether you work in your home office, you're still going to work.
Mhm.
It's your mindset.
Mhm.
Or you could be working out of your bed while laying in bed, but calling, you're going to work. So it's not about going to the office or whatever. You're going to work. But whether I work from my house or in the car, I'm at work. My mindset, I'm not the same guy that you met when we were hanging out, at some restaurants or some gatherings, and I was just this cool guy. I am not that guy. I changed my tone of voice, everything. I am structured. I am prepared to die, meaning I am prepared to be in the battle,
Right.
committed.
Right.
If you, as a soldier, you're not prepared to die, you're not a soldier.
So, you remember that guy doing the chicken and the egg? Well, at the conference the other day for breakfast.
Yeah.
What did you say yours was?
Are you the chicken or the egg?
Yeah, so he was basically saying with commitment versus involved. So the chicken's involved with the egg, but the pig's committed because it's his ass. And you said I say something different. I forget. Do you remember? You use that analogy, but you say a different way.
Oh gosh, I think I did say something.
I can't remember it.
I think the guy said that we're the pigs, and I said, "Oh my goodness, it was funny." I forgot what I apologize.
That's all right. We'll come back to it. Well, let me. So you're talking about I made my first 100, I made my first million, then 3, then 4, then 10, and it begs the question: what do you do for business then?
So I started as a carpenter in my life, and that's I think was my, if I had someone give me a computer, I probably would be in IT.
Sure.
Somebody said, "Son, here is." I mean, I had a couple of things. I think I naturally wanted to be a surgeon,
Really?
and this is gonna sound weird, but back in the village, um, you had a farm, you had a cow, you had a pig, you had a sheep or uh, geese and ducks and chickens. I mean, somebody's got to kill them, right? And skin the skin and the rabbits and all that. I did it all at like 9 years old. Some people are telling me, like, "Oh my God, you killed the bunnies?" I mean, you see, this is the mindset.
Yeah.
I didn't kill the bunnies. I killed the animal that we need to eat.
Yeah.
I killed the food.
Yeah.
So I mean, did I pet them? Yeah, they were cool, but then it was time to go. So you just have to detach yourself. Just the same thing when people buy a house. Like, oh, it's my house. It's a pile of sticks.
Yes.
Move on. It's not your son. It's not your daughter. It's not even your dog. It's a house. It's okay. But we raised kids here. Okay. But your kids need to go to school. I say sell the house, get the equity, put them in Harvard, and go and live in an apartment. But that's uncomfortable.
Mm.
If you want your kids to be comfortable, get uncomfortable.
Oh, absolutely.
So back to where I got my skill was, like I said, in carpentry and chopping up animals. So then I remember thinking back, I said, maybe I would have been a good surgeon because I didn't care about the blood. So what are the surgeons? Are they the coldest, meanest people? Probably not.
No.
But they have the skill of putting that mindset aside and just paying attention to what they're doing. It's a skill to not get emotional about what you're doing. The same thing I think I achieved in carpentry. I fell in love with wood. I fell in love with the smell, the shavings of the wood, and then I said to myself, how can I make money with that? I said, I'll make windows, I'll make doors, I'll make furniture, I'll make flooring. I started making it. I mean, if you looked at the stuff, it's still there in the village, like some of the stuff that I made. But if you look at it, I like remember going there 7 years ago before the war. Looking at this stuff, I started laughing. I was like, man, it's not even quality.
But you
But
did it.
it's still standing.
Sure.
I made my own glue out of cottage cheese.
What?
Yes. Yeah. There's a way to make glue out of cottage cheese.
Okay.
And the stuff is still strong. No nails, all wood dowels.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wow.
still standing, all made out of red oak. Floors are made out of red oak. I said to myself, man, I mean, not quality really, but I mean, I was like 13 years old.
Sure.
So what did that do? I mean, my grandma embedded in me a few things. She said that, I mean, this is country
Sure.
thinking, but she said a man should know how to ride a horse. A man should know how to fix his car, minimum things. A man should know how to put basically a nail in the wall. But never taught me something like a man should know how to make money. A man should know how to be a figure to his kids and be a good husband. None of that was taught to me. I never knew how to treat a woman. Never had an example how a woman should be treated. That also has been a downfall in my life, big time. I think I didn't know what is a gentleman. What does that mean? A gentleman to me was a guy that knows how to make money. That's not a gentleman. A guy that was responsible. That's not a gentleman. I didn't know how to treat people. Zero knowledge, which was a downfall in my life. It made me cold, but also that coldness helped me in business.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like the people that were pampered by their parents don't go far because they don't have that drive and that cold. We just step in the fire or water or mud. We just keep going.
Yeah.
There was that to me. It was like a drug, just like a pump. To keep going was a pump to me. It was an exciting thing to do, and it was just. I think till today, like if I ran out of gas on the highway, and the next exit was 10 miles away, I won't walk. I'll run, and I'll run, and I'll run 10 miles.
So
because there's no other way.
I had a mentor, and you just reminded me of this. I had a mentor for a long time, Lonnie. He passed away, and I remember him asking me one day. He goes, "Chris, if you and Robin and the kids were in the desert, and there was only one meal left, who would you feed?" And he just shut up. And I said,
Good question.
I said, "I'd feed me." And he goes, "Why?" I said, "Because I have
Two answers.
I have the best opportunity to go get help and come back."
That's exactly what I thought of. Because instantly you'll say, feed the weak. I mean, feed the woman, not the weak, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. My family, who I'm taking care of.
Feed the kids. But it's like saying, when I remember in my life, like it was today, I had $20 to my name after I was a millionaire.
Wow.
Yeah. It was an exercise. To me, I think it was an exercise. It was let's take everything away from you and let's do it again. I was not emotional about it. I wasn't like, why is this happening to me? I worked so hard.
Right. You weren't being your own worst enemy.
I didn't have time for that.
I got to go make my money back.
Let's go get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I laid on my couch, I remember, and stared in the ceiling for like a few days.
Sure.
Get
your shit together.
Yeah, it was just like creating a plan, thinking, what I did wrong. At $20, and I said, rent is gonna be due. I need food. Where do I put the money? Gas.
Got to go and sell something.
Yeah. Put the money, $20, last $20 I had. No credit card.
And look at you now.
And I put the money and I made the deal. But I knew that if I don't make that deal, I'm dead.
Yep.
I said that to myself. You're dead.
Yep. I don't enjoy it, but over the 26 years of being an entrepreneur, my back's been against a wall a few times, and I've been able to find out who I really am, and I'm actually really pleased with that guy. And I think everybody should get themselves painted into a corner to see if you're willing to fight or if you're going to fold. I do because look, you've heard the saying, easy times make weak men. Weak men make hard times. Hard times make strong men.
That's right. Hard times. If your back is against the wall, so think of it this way: if you were able, or I was able, doesn't matter. Just using that as a topic, to make a deal with my last $20 with fear of, but fear that was fed by confidence at the same time,
Sure.
or confidence that
You wouldn't have sold the
a
deal.
little bit of both.
You
Whatever.
wouldn't have given it to the gas. If you didn't have the confidence, you wouldn't.
But here's what I go to. I say to myself, let's say I go to make a deal, and I'm just like, oh, I don't know. I'm like, okay, so today you have a house, you have money and this and that, and I put myself in that state of mind. You got $20. That's all you got. You better walk out of that room with a contract. Remember that? You did it then. Why can't you do it today? Again, what? Comfort.
Yeah.
Get that thing out.
Yeah.
Comfort.
You can
sleep on a nice bed, but just remember, you could be sleeping on a very, very hard bed in a very dark room.
True. So you started as a carpenter. You made your first million. You back down to $20. What are you doing now?
So then back to $20, and then I actually teach that to some people, which worked for me. Is when I was in a moment of, let's call it, four walls. I said to myself, how do I get out of these four walls? You got to think of what these four walls can do. Let's use an analogy. Can we lay out some maps on the wall and use the wall as our guide, right? So what did I do? I said, write down your resources. What you have to go to is go down to your resources. What are the resources today you have? What are the skills today you have that can get you out of this room, these four walls that you're locked in, right? So I started writing the people. Who are the people? Then I started writing the numbers next to them. How much would this guy give me? $500. How much would this guy, you think, give me? I mean, he makes money. He'd probably give me $1,000. Someone told me when I told him this concept, I'm not gonna go beg people. Well, then stay broke. I didn't beg. I asked for a loan, but I didn't ask for 500,000.
Right.
I said $500, this, that, and I would tell those people who gave me, like I said, Joey. Oh yeah, he gave me $500. Oh really? I'll give you 500. Now maybe that money would never be returned, but 500, 1,000, 200. I went to my mother, went to my aunt. I paid them all back, plus interest. My mother didn't have money. I said, "Do you have a credit card?" Sure. Does it matter? I raised money. I think I raised 25 grand then.
Well, that certainly was a skill that helps you now.
So that people say, "Oh, I don't have money to start a business." Start writing down your resources. Now, skills. People say, "Well, what do I do? I don't know what to." So even if I had the money, what am I going to do? What are your skills? I don't know. Do you know how to polish shoes good? Let's just say, yeah. Well, go to the airport and set up a shoe polishing place. Well, I really like it. Doesn't matter what you like. What are your skills that you can do? Any skill. Maybe you talk to someone and they're like, they cook good. They can, they never thought that starting some kind of cooking school on YouTube, whatever, but they know how to cook and they're passionate about it. And they know how to cook a healthy meal. Okay, write it down. Then you write all these down and say, where can I make the most amount of money from these line items? Can I YouTube? What are the odds that I'll make the money? What do they say? Polishing shoes. Do I live near an airport somewhere that I can make
high
money?
Traffic, right?
What else? I know how to train bodybuilding. Does that make money? I don't think so.
Mm-mm.
How many trainers we know that don't make any money? Or I know how to play a guitar. Okay, so where are you going to make money? You're going to play on the street? Are you going to make money there? So I go to what is most What can give me the most success?
And what's most likely to give you that
Correct.
success?
So we have two columns. Where can I get the money, and where can I do that? But I also have to pick something, a business or a business or a trade that I can take a small amount of money and invest. For example, a construction company. People think it takes a boatload of money to start a construction company. I started a construction company I remember when I was 19 years old, no money, zero. Um, I know what it's like to be broke. But I had a credit card that was sent to me, high interest, whatever, from a bank that I think they went out during 2007, but it was Countrywide Bank. And Countrywide Bank credit card, 300, I think it was $350. I don't remember. It was definitely not 400. It was 300 something. $350, and I was like, that's a start. What did I do? I bought tools
Yep.
at Home Depot. Let's say I needed a screw gun today. Tomorrow I needed a drill. I would return the screw gun,
That's what I did.
buy the drill.
Dude, you don't have the
just
same story.
swap like this, and until I made more money. Then I start advertising, and it's just you have to be resourceful. If you're not resourceful, if if let's say you go to the fridge and you're like, I can't cook today. Why? You have a tomato, you have a cucumber, you have, I don't know, something else. Make an omelet. Don't go spend money. People go, oh, I'm going to go buy a sandwich. You don't have money to buy a sandwich. You have a tomato that's going to go bad tomorrow. Eat it today. Because tomorrow, how many times you've seen people throw food away?
Yeah, a lot.
I'm like, what are you doing? Oh, it's soggy. Soggy. It's still got the same vitamins. Eat the damn thing. Now, if you're that filthy rich, you can just throw stuff around and donate it. So those are the things that help me in life is in commitment. A lot of people don't commit. They're like, oh, I tried. How many people come to that I interview and they go, I used to have a business, and they kind of like almost brag about it. And I go, I would be embarrassed to talk about it. I had a business. No, you didn't. It wasn't a business. It was a self-employed, go to work. It's not a business. I worked for myself, maybe you could say.
Sure.
Not a business.
Sure.
So you failed. No, I didn't. Tell me what happened.
Why are you here?
I got tired of chasing money. Oh, tired of being a collector. That's what you do in business. You're a collections agency.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't let anybody, as they say, collect. I'm accounts receivables in my business.
Really?
It's the most important job.
Actually, I am too.
Receivables.
I am too.
If you put somebody to call your clients and say, oh, sorry, you're late, they're going to say, whatever. Joanne called me. Who cares? Now, when Chris calls,
when the owner calls,
this is a problem.
Serious conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they dismiss you, you know what's going to happen. We close down the job.
Yes.
Right? Or we give another chance. Anyways, different strategies. But so that's important. Accounts payable is also important. You have to put somebody really, really that understands it, because if you don't pay on time, people are not going to want to do business with you.
Correct. And especially in construction, like dude, I used to have people come into my office. I'm done with the job. I need a check. And I would pay them. And I ended up hiring a CFO. And most brilliant thing ever, we've created a contract for every subcontractor. First, you have to send an invoice. Then you either get paid on the 15th or the 30th. And so if you give it to me, and you have to give it to me a week before.
Full cash flow.
Yeah.
No cash flow, no business.
It's and these are just systems.
That's one thing I teach
systems
people.
that you set up.
You know why you have no money? You're paying people too fast.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but I pay them because I appreciate it. No. There are systems.
There's a system involved with that. And the bigger it gets, the more important that it is.
Capital is everything. That goes to you asked me this question before. What was your other big failure? And I couldn't, come up with it right away, because obviously these questions are as we go. I like podcasts that are just Yeah,
Flow.
just flow. Let's talk about it. So, one of my biggest things that, and still kind of challenging because we always want to leverage. I'm a guy that believes in leverage, um, because I think that's how I'm a hare, right? I'm not a turtle. Some people that are turtles, and I trip up, and turtles don't trip up, but I feel like I'm still. So if I measure myself with a turtle, that I have many friends, and I don't speak of them badly. A turtle, I mean, with respect.
Sure.
Just
Steady Eddie.
Just steady, yes. And I'm a hare. This guy's crawling. I've tripped up, fell, knocked my teeth out, went to a dentist, got new teeth. And I'm here, right? And he's here, and I'm still here.
Yeah.
And I run them. I failed twice. This guy never twice.
But it's just who you are.
But I am way ahead of him.
It's who you are.
But he wouldn't want to go through what I went through.
You would murder yourself if you had to go turtle pace.
Yeah. So back to what I was saying is capital. Oh,
one of the mistakes. You said one of the mistakes.
Yeah, that's what my mistake is, that
just being cash poor.
Yeah. No. Now, there's nothing wrong with deployment. You should deploy, but the proportion. If you're doing, let's start with something smaller. If you're doing $2 million in sales, I don't know if that's small or not, but in construction, it's small. You should have at least $200,000 at all times. Like you should. That's like sin. To literally say, this is sin. God's going to punish me. I'll go to hell.
Yeah.
Everybody will leave me. Like, you come up with something horrible. My leg will fall off or something. I don't know. My mother won't want to talk to me again, or my dad, or whatever. I don't know. My wife will leave me. 200 grand, 10%.
10%
should be in your bank, untouchable.
Okay, so here's, and just so people can, how do I do that? It's really friggin' simple, because I same thing, 10%. Every time we get a check, 10% immediately would go to a savings account, and the rest is the money that we can use to build our business.
The savings account,
that's just where we held
it should be a market money account.
Right. That's what I meant.
But at the end of the day, that is not. I don't. People say it's my nest egg. No, it's not. It's not even your money. It's the business's money.
Correct.
Your money is like far away. You are a sacrificial lamb for a while. Now people say, pay yourself before you pay others. Yeah, there's some principle to that, but it comes a little later.
Yeah,
you have to survive the test.
It's also a mindset that
you have to survive a test. And I believe in business, there are stages, just like in a relationship. The first stage is 2 years. I don't care what anybody says. Some people say, well, if you didn't make it in 2 years, maybe it's time to start a new business. Does anyone know that Amazon did not profit for 9 years?
No, I didn't know that.
They did not profit. There were losses.
But probably aggressively building. Yeah.
They were reinvesting, no doubt. But there was no distributions for 9 years. 9 years, that's a suicide mission. Wouldn't you think maybe it's time to quit?
It's hard to hold on that long.
That's right. Now, in construction, what I've experienced, because that's most of what I know, a little bit of retail, hospitality business. That's a different animal to talk about. In construction, 2 years is your first challenge. If you survive first 2 years, doesn't mean you'll be fine. The next hurdle is roughly between 6 and 7, 5, 7. That's another one. Why? Yeah, after 2 years, you get to 10 million, maybe 20 million. To get from 10 to 100, boy.
Big difference.
It's a big difference. It's the same thing as I remember getting from 100 to 200,000, capital. Like talking about the savings account, 200 that we talked about, to then 2 million in that account. That's also that hardship. The first million is super hard. It's hard. Oh my God, it's hard. It's so hard that it's like, you just think like, how are we able to do this?
Yes.
This is insane. Now, when you get that million and you get 10 million and you're like, it's hard. Yeah, it's okay. And you're like, how do they do it? Like hundreds of millions? How? That's the next hurdle. And after that, I don't know because I'm not a billionaire.
So everything, the first hurdle is getting to 7 figures. That was the hardest for me. what happens between 1 million and 10 million are usually systems. And what happens from 10 million and above, it's the people that you're bringing in.
The foundation.
Yeah.
Yes. I couldn't do it without the people that I have. And there's so many people, even in my company, that have, I put it this way, get scared. I call them people, people want to quit. I go, you're scared. You're scared to die in the battle. You're not a soldier.
I came from the mud. There's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree. There's roots where I stand.
Hey friend, if you enjoyed listening to this podcast, please leave a review and subscribe to catch future casts. If you really enjoyed this episode, make sure you share it so others can benefit from it as well. I'll see you in the trenches.